Hey, everybody, it's me, Jonathan Millard, back with another Big Hype podcast sponsored by Hype Energy Drinks. And thank you to our big sponsors. And our special guest today, fighting in a couple of weeks' time, is Willy, or Will, Gilheaney.
Good to see you, John.
How you doing, Will? You all right?
See you, mate. Yeah, all good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling really good. I'm hyped. I had a good weekend and lots going on.
Yeah.
So, you're a busy man as well. And we'll come to that in a minute. But as I do on most of the podcasts, we ask people to go right back to how it started. How did you get involved and why in boxing?
Well, boxing for me started. I can't remember life without boxing, to be honest. My old man was a boxer. His old man was a boxer, and his old man was a boxer. I come from a fighting family of travelling people and bare knucklers, so I was kind of ushered into boxing straight away. Really, I'm one of 4 boys, so. Having 3 brothers, obviously, we were fighting all the time anyway. And as soon as we got of age, my dad just put us straight into boxing.
So there was no option for you. It was bang, in the gym, off you go.
Yeah, we were just born into it, bred into it.
Good, man. Good. So, obviously, Inspirations, I'm going to guess, is dad, granddad, brothers, that have been your inspiration to push forward with this and take it to the next step.
Yeah. Well, my dad's my number 1 fan. And although my dad's obviously he's my dad, he's more like a friend to me, like kind of thing, like my mate.
Yeah.
And he's helped me all the way through every camp I've been in so far, just trying to build me confidence and help me like lose the weight and stuff when I first started. And yeah, he's an ideal role model, and obviously he's good to have in camp as well.
Good. Yeah. So he keeps your spirits up during the camp process then, because camps are difficult,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love my food, I do, to be honest. So I struggle on the diets, and he's always telling me like. It'll be worded in the end. Christmas, not long till Christmas, and you can enjoy yourself then, and stuff like that.
And that's fair enough. And this fight was just before Christmas, so you'll have a couple of weeks where you can relax and, as you said earlier to me, get fat and enjoy the food and enjoy a little bit of life back and forth with family and friends as well around that season. It's always difficult. Don't fancy anyone really fancying fights in January or February because Christmas, there's so much temptation around.
Yeah.
So with your younger days, did you start? Was it amateurs started with, or was it just sort of?
I had quite a big amateur career. I had my first fight when I was 10. I boxed up until I was 18, and I had 39 amateur fights. Won 30 of them. Boxed numerous national and international fights. I think I won 6 or 7 international titles. 7-time Welsh champion. I won the CYP championships, fought in the British, the 4 Nations, 3 times. Boxed some good boys along the way as well.
Yeah. I
had a really good amateur career.
I think going right back, because I used to do a lot with the amateur scene. I still try my hardest to do it. It's just obviously, as things change, I got a feeling there was one night that I may have announced you. May have.
Yeah.
In the amateurs.
Guaranteed probably back in the day, yeah.
Probably back in the day in some workman's hall. In the South Wales valleys where we were, we're crossed over quite a few times into the southern area, and obviously mine's the Eastern Division normally, but I'm sure you came up to a couple of, and you would have travelled everywhere and opportunities because you were probably fighting every week in those days. Yeah,
near enough, yeah. Fighting regularly,
and if not
so we would have crossed paths.
Yeah, we probably got crossed paths before.
Well, my brother Thomas had nearly 80 fights, so I can guarantee you definitely announced him at some point.
We probably crossed paths on that time. Maybe no, I don't think I refereed in those days, but awesome. So the change then and stepping into a professional capacity as opposed to the amateur scene. How have you found that? How have you navigated that? I mean, you're 3-0 now as a professional, but how did you navigate that change from amateur to pros?
Well, to be honest, it was a really big change because obviously I had that big amateur career, but I stopped boxing at 18. I got married at 19, had kids, and left it off. I put a load of weight on. I think I was up to about 17.5 stone in 2022. And when I came back, I wanted to go professional. Enzo wanted me to have, Enzo, who's my trainer, Enzo Macronelli, wanted me to have a couple of amateurs. Instead of doing that, I just went straight into the pros. So I was like 9 years out before I even had a fight, and I just obviously went into the pros. But I think it suited my style a lot more than the amateur style. if that
I
makes
think
sense.
I think most people, hopefully all the people listening who know who Enzo McAnally is.
Yeah,
Well, astounding man, and a great advocate for Welsh boxing as well, and still, as you said, pursuing the amateur side of it and trying to help you guys like yourselves getting into the professional
of
side of it
course,
as
yeah.
well. He's actually really well thought of and well known and well respected in for what he's doing in the
Yeah.
sport now after his career. So you decided that it was the style that you felt.
Yeah.
And as you know, in the amateurs, obviously, it is a lot more point scoring. It's quite quick rounds.
Yeah.
You've got a bit more time to do more things. Is that what you felt was it, or did you feel that the power you have in your
I
punches
would
there?
say, obviously, my power does come into it, but my style is more of a slow-paced counter-punching style.
Mhm.
Obviously, I can fight and I can adjust and pick up the pace if I have to, but I just found the amateur style over 3 rounds didn't suit me. More like
Mm.
as it went further and further, I seemed to get better. So I think
Yeah.
the more rounds I go, the better people will see of me. The more better my style will come into play. Like,
Yeah. So that extra minute in every round and that extra round helps you.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Well, in the
I mean,
amateurs, everybody just goes for broke and exerts every bit of energy they've got. Whereas in the professionals, you have to slow it down because
yeah.
obviously you've got to think of the rounds that are still to come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
so,
bit more to it then in that case, and that allows you to
yeah,
be the more thinking boxer,
yeah,
and countering, like you say, counter punching is
of
the
course.
style. Although you say that, and obviously your professional debut was a knockout or KO, TKO. Was it
Yeah,
TKO or knockout?
TKO, yeah, stoppage, yeah.
TKO, sorry, stoppage.
Yeah.
And was it the third round? Wasn't it?
No, it was the fourth round. It was
It
the
was the
last round.
fourth. Sorry, last
Yeah,
round. That's what I was thinking. Um,
yeah. Should
so
it should have been the second to be honest, but should have been the second. But I won't say too much. I was happy with the stoppage in the end up anyway.
But it was still, again, it's an impressive debut to start with, having the stop fight
Yeah,
in the last round, and obviously then that allowed you to think, well, actually, not a bad boy in the first outing. The second, then
yeah,
we went the full 4 rounds, and then we've gone into the sixth round now as well in the last third fight, and that was
yeah,
in Selwyn Jones Centre,
yeah.
was it? Yeah,
Selwyn Samuel Centre, yeah, in
Selwyn Samuel.
Finley.
Sorry, I get confused. So Charles thing up north and then this one down there. But again, good venues and
Yeah.
good fights. Lots of crowd for you as well. I looked at the video.
Yeah, there was a good crowd in the third fight. The second fight wasn't too big of a crowd, to be honest. The second fight, really speaking, I shouldn't have fought because
Okay.
I didn't tell Enzo until the day, but I had a really bad chest infection, and I also had a really bad injury with my hand that took me out of a fight in April and another fight in June. So
Okay.
that's why I didn't fight from February to August, 6 months without fighting
Yeah.
because I had a bad hand injury. So that fight should never have really happened. I think if I was
Left
fit
or
on that night, I think I would have stopped that boy earlier.
yeah. Was it the left or the
My,
right hand? You're
it
orthodox,
was
aren't you?
my left hand. My left hand, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
orthodox.
okay.
I can switch, but because I couldn't switch because I wasn't confident enough of hitting him the left to hold him back,
Yeah.
obviously. Didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair enough. But so what was it? A broken tendon or broken bone or
It was ligament damage. It was
okay. Okay.
ligament
So
damage.
little bit of time needs quite a bit of time to get back to
Yeah, took me about
back
6 months roughly to get back to
yeah,
normal. Like,
yeah. And how's it holding up now?
oh, it's perfect now. It was all right in my last fight. Like, it worked perfect there. No
Good,
issues.
good. Just going back a little bit and if we're talking about that, we'll talk about the third fight in a minute as well. But you said about putting on the weight and having dropped the weight. How did you do that? Considering you said, what was your plan of attack with Enzo and Dad in the corner there as well with you?
To be honest, at the time I was 17 and a half stone, and I was suffering really bad with depression. I was really depressed,
Sorry.
and I just got up one day and I thought, you know what? Something's got to change. Like, it can't keep going on like this. I got 3 small kids. Looking back, like, I thought I've got to change for them, really, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I asked God to show me something to say, look, what's the answer? Like, what I'm looking for something here to change it. And a couple of days went by. I got a phone call from my mum. She said, "Your little brother's in the gym. I can't get to him. Can you go and pick him up?" and he ended up going up to Enzo's, picking him up, and Enzo called me in for a round on the pads. At the time, it was horrible because I was really unfit, really out of shape.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't even last one round. I was about 2 minutes in and I couldn't breathe. I was lying on the floor a lot. And it wasn't until I went home and I was in bed and I thought, it clicked to me, like, that's what I'm got to do. That was on a Friday. I joined the gym on the Monday, and I was 17.5 stone. Boxed Steve Davis in my first fight 7 or 8 months later at 12 stone. So I lost 5.5 stone.
5.5 stone.
I just took it in my head, and that's what it was like.
That was the plan. So I was talking to Gavin Reese's gym, Thule, and he was just saying he's on a bit of a diet at the moment. I'm on a bit of a diet as well. I wouldn't believe it to look at me, but I lost nearly a stone in the last 6 weeks or so. So yeah, we're all trying to do it. But he was saying his breakfast is a boiled egg or a portion of porridge, and then 125 grams of rice, 125 grams of chicken, and a yogurt. And I was going, and that's it. And I was going, yeah. It's like, okay.
To be honest,
I mean, did you do anything crazy like that as a boxer, or
how I first started it? Obviously, a man is meant to eat 2,500 calories in a day, but if you train with that, you would lose weight anyway. Yeah. So I dropped it down to 2,000, and I could feel the weight slowly coming off. Then I dropped it to 1,800 calories per day, which obviously, eating that and training twice a day, the weight's going to just drop off you.
Yeah.
And I just noticed within weeks, like, I was just slimming down, especially in my face straight away. I've got a few videos actually they're on TikTok and Facebook, and you can see like the progress within a couple of weeks. Even like 2 months, you can see the change is just drastic. And obviously, you can't keep to 1,800 calories all the time, so I had to go back up.
No, it's very difficult. That's exactly that's how I've been doing it as well. Calorie counting a little bit and just kind of moderating what I'm doing and trying to cut out like some of the carby stuff like bread and chocolate.
Bread's killer.
I love chocolate. And driving home on a late night after a boxing show, you kind of the only place open, and you feel like you should have eaten at 7 o'clock. But the show was still going, and you were until midnight. So you're eating at like ridiculous clock in the morning, and you just stuff your face with whatever McDonald's you can find, and it's always McDonald's. Course, There's never anything else. Nothing else.
It's always open. So, you always end up there.
Yeah, it's always there. Cool. So going to your last fight, your third fight. I forget the name of the chap now. I did have it on my thing, but
Jackson Asagi.
How did you feel that one went for you?
Well, to be honest, if you go on BoxRec and have a look at that fight, it says that I was 171 pounds and he was 176 pounds. But it wasn't that on the night, because when I first weighed in, I had jogging bottoms on, no t-shirt, no shoes and socks. I had my phone and my wallet in both pockets. I would say I was 11 stone 13. I would say I would have been about 11 stone 11 on the weigh-in, and he weighed in 12 stone 10. So he was roughly nearly a stone heavier than me. But on BoxRec it says different weights. So obviously he had a very big advantage on me that night. But because I hadn't fought in so long, I didn't want to I just wanted just a fight, basically. So give him an unfair advantage, to be honest. And in the fight, he was, I'd say by a country mile, the most dirtiest fighter I've ever been with in the ring. Every shot was in the back of the head, low blows. He headbutted me on my collarbone loads of times, elbowed me. He was just a really dirty fighter. He was. Yeah. Honestly, he was
up in there and keeping. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't come to win, he just come to spoil. Oh yeah, I've learned a lot from that fight, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those ones are the worst ones, because they're the ones that could potentially have, caused something that may be a long-term issue, like you said, the injuries and stuff, caught you in the nose somewhere, the eye, those things could be potentially for the career as well.
Especially those back of the head shots, they're really bad there.
Yeah. We wouldn't want. I wish that on any fighter in regards to in that situation. We try to sort of keep it clean as much as possible. And that was a point win, 8:55, if I remember correctly, 54, something like that.
Yeah.
clear win for the first 6-rounder that you took on.
Yeah.
And well, I'm glad you came through and you're happy with that, happy as you can be with it, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's now led us on to the next fight, which actually is for the Championship of Wales in the middleweight division.
Super middleweight.
Super middleweight, sorry. Yeah. Dang it. Best get it right on the night,
You'll get there. Basically, I took that fight, that 6-rounder. I needed a 6-rounder to be eligible for a title.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the only reason really I took the fight as well.
Okay.
But now I've got my Welsh title shot, so I'm happy I did it at the time.
That's good. And it's up against a well-known fighter, and I've announced him as well already, Ethan George. Yeah. And, how do you feel about stepping in the ring with him? Probably come across him already.
I know Ethan really well, yeah. We're actually friends, we get on well. We've sparred as well a couple of times, sparred on a few different occasions. So to me, it's just a fight. It's just purely business. I want the title.
Yeah.
I've got there's no hard feelings. I try to keep it as respectful as I can, but at the same time, I want people to be interested and come and watch it. So I have been doing a little bit of back and forth on the internet with him. But obviously, at the end of the day, we're both fighters, and I do respect him. So
yeah, and like you said,
I'm still going to beat him on the night, and take his title.
I'm not allowed to go either way or the other on this one as an official. I just want to see the good fight because I know it's going to be a good fight. Like you say, both of you are going to come with that championship belt in mind to take home with you back to the family. Both of you are going to want it. I know Ethan wants it. Yeah. So, it's going to be I think it's going to be a great night. And if you're coming along, if you haven't already got tickets, then tickets still available, I'm sure, from the fighters, from whoever, So that's sort of setting you up. Now, obviously, hopefully the night goes, it goes your way and you walk out with the championship. What's next then for Will?
Big Hype Podcast, sponsored by Hype Energy Drinks.
To be honest, obviously, I'm 28, so there's no point me waiting around and just having fight after fight. We're not like in a disrespectful way, but we're journeymen because I want to try and progress as quick as I can, be fast-tracked a little bit. So obviously, if I win this, I'll take Ethan's ranking as well as his belt when I win this. So I'll be in the top 15 at super middleweight, but I don't have plan to stay at super middleweight. I'm going to drop to middle, and then eventually I'm going to drop to super welterweight. So light middle.
Okay.
I'd say within the next year, I'd like to fight for the Celtic and the Commonwealth Silver. And I know there's a new belt out, the EBU External. I wouldn't mind fighting for that. It helps the rankings really, get me closer to a British title. That's the plan
you understand how these extra belts, and a lot of conversations I've had, people pull me up on this all the time and say, well, what's your opinion on these extra belts? And I said, well, we're very fortunate in Britain. We've got our areas, areas, and then we've got our regions, English and, well, obviously, unfortunately, Welsh comes under an area, which rightly or wrongly, obviously we've now renamed it anyway, but it's not the same level as an English, unfortunately. Maybe in future that will change, but that's where we are at the moment with it. We've got that English, we've got that then British, and then you've said, you mentioned the Celtic there as well. We've got these extra levels already in our system. Nations unfortunately don't have quite as many opportunities. So there's, I know in America you've only got you've got your state level, and then the next one is the Championship of America, and obviously going from state to America, that's against 50 odd states potentially from boxers from all of those different levels. These other little belts come in and sort of say, well, actually this is the right level, and that's, as you said, helps with your rankings and gets you over. What's your thoughts on all of these extra belts?
I think it's a good thing, to be honest, because obviously if it's just one belt and everybody's fighting for it, it's going to be harder to win, isn't it? So you got fighters like a fighter who trains in the gym with us, he's also a friend of Ethan's, is Angelo Dragone.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He was able to recently just win the Welsh title against Jake Tinklen.
Yeah.
But it was obviously his goal was always to win the Welsh title. But if that had been like a title, say like the English title, it would be a lot harder to win. So I think those titles, those belts and stuff come into it like, obviously it's easier for people to win and the more of a chance for people getting belts. And it does do your rankings a bit better as well.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I think it helps internationally, not necessarily nationally. I think the board does a great job in sort of moderating how and where people fit within the systems. But I think beyond that, then the sanctioning bodies kind of don't get that information and that much that knowledge, if that makes sense, because they don't know you as the fighters enough to say, well, actually he could compete for a silver, or actually the world, or their international whatever version of the belt that they've got. You can use that knowledge and how you've done with the other belts to then say, well, here's an opportunity for you. We think you could fit into that picture. And
you could have a fellow like maybe who's like 5 wins and 2 losses. He's not really going to win a Commonwealth belt, but the Commonwealth silver, he could have a chance of winning it. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing. If he retires and that's the only thing he's done in boxing, at least he's got a belt to show his kids or someone, or what. Do you mean he's got some kind of memorabilia to come from boxing? Because it is a hard sport at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And like you say, the English level is a bit different because we've interviewed quite a few, not so much debutants, but they're sort of 8-0, maybe 10-0, now looking at that sort of English title scene and sort of thinking Southern area English, and they're going to be at 15 fights before they're sort of challenging for the British and that sort of thing. And that again is part of their progress. And again, for us, we have a similar sort of system. So yeah, it's interesting to have a boxer's take on that one. And I'm glad you see it that way as well. Obviously, like you say, that's an interesting career as well. You mentioned not sitting back on resting on the laurels, moving forward as quickly as you possibly can to progress yourself and see where you can go, as you say.
Yeah.
Maybe people will say age is against you, but you mentioned Angelo there he came in as, what was he, 31?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he was old starting.
He was old starting, and he went away and came back and won the Welsh Championship against Jake Tinklin. As I said, no drink very, very many years in the amateur scene. So plenty of opportunity, I still think, for you as well. And if you, like you say, if you're going to progress, then you will progress, and you understand that. Yeah.
Well, me and Enzo had this conversation as well when I first started, and he said, "How old are you?" I said, 27, and he said, "Well," he said, "you haven't got a lot of time on your side." He said. Well, I said to him, "I've never been knocked out. I've never had no really bad injuries. I mean, I've got nothing really going against me that way. I know I'm a little bit older, but I'm also a little bit fresher as well than some of the fighters at that age who've had, like, I wouldn't say career-ending injuries, but really bad injuries, or been knocked out a couple of times and stuff like that there. So I haven't had that against me as well."
Would you say as well the age is a set of knowledge that you can utilize in your bouts as well?
Well, obviously years ago I always wanted to turn professional, but now looking back, I know I never would have, because my mindset wasn't the way it is now. I mean, I think as you get older, you get wiser, obviously, and your mind changes like every year. I think every year you get a little bit more wiser. I'm still not 100% wise, but I'm getting there.
We all make mistakes. I've made loads, and I've hopefully learned from them, but I have repeated some of them at my detriment, unfortunately. But that's learning curve of life, I suppose, and that you say, you become a little bit wiser from it and try and move forward a little bit from it as well. So okay,
of course.
And when obviously, where would you like to see it? I mean, if there's no sort of age time or anything like that again, where would you like to see? Where would Will like to be? Fighting? Is there a particular venue?
When I started, obviously, this process, it was a thing to get to a world title. I want to win a world title.
Yeah.
I don't care really. I'd like to earn money along the way, but it's not everything to me. All I want to do is win a world title out of boxing. So if I can get to that, I will get to that. That's my aim. Obviously, this Welsh title's only a stepping stone. Once I beat Ethan George, I'll move to more and more and go up the rankings further. And I think I've still got a couple of years on my side, so hopefully win a world title one day, and that'll be me done.
Good man. But when the dust has settled and the belts are in the cabinet, and whatever's in there is in there. What would Will be doing after boxing? Is there something that you'd be thinking about doing?
I will definitely, as soon as I finish boxing, I'll be a boxing trainer.
Okay.
I'm up in the gym with the boys all the time. I'm helping Enzo's amateurs train. Once I finish my own session, I'm helping them and bringing them on the pads and learning them little bits and bobs here and there. Even Enzo said about me, I've got just the eye for it. Like, I could be a good trainer one day.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I've got a little boy and I've got another little boy on the way. So I want to learn them. One day I want to like have my own gym and learn them and teach them. And hopefully one day they'll progress into professional boxers.
So you already said you had, was it 3? You got 1 on the way, is that right?
I got 3 kids and 1 on the way, yeah.
And 1 on the way, so that's 4. So what are their ages?
I got a 7-year-old girl,
Yeah,
a 4-year-old girl, a 2-year-old boy, and then in April then I'm going to be a dad again.
Okay.
Not
well, congratulations for
Thank
that.
you very much.
So you'll be putting this fight and dedicating it to them, I guess, as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Good.
Make them proud.
And you're not going to train the girls either as well, or are they going to?
No, I don't think they're going to be into boxing, to be honest. I think they're going to be footballers, both of them.
Okay.
They play football in the living room.
Yeah. Knocking down all the ornaments, yeah?
Yeah.
Strange enough, we were chatting to someone the other day, and I was saying, well, in an alternative universe, she might have been a lioness because she was going up in that sort of professional. She was signed. I think she said she was signed to Chelsea for a short period of time as well. So in the academy. So who knows? Opportunities are there now for the girls in football as well as
to be honest,
boxing. So
I'd love if all my kids were footballers because there's a lot more money in football.
True.
Boxing's a hard game, and there's not much money in it, especially at the start.
No, that is true. And I'm sure you can go back and listen to some of the other podcasts. We won't go into that with you. Yeah. We understand. Anyway, we have a tradition on the podcast before we close. Thank you so much for being on with us, just to go through some very quick fire rapid response ones, and I haven't told you what they are. I'm not giving you anything, but they're the same that I've given everyone. So, southpaw or orthodox?
Orthodox.
Body shots or head shots?
Body shots.
Train alone or with a partner?
Train alone.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Boxing gym or outdoor training?
Outdoor training.
Okay. Short and powerful punches or the long technical punches? We might have answered that one already.
Yeah, short and powerful maybe.
Yeah. Fight dirty or fight clean?
Fight dirty.
Loud crowd or quiet atmosphere?
Loud crowd. I love when I get the crowd going.
I'm sure you've boxed in enough empty rooms over the years in the amateur scene. Yeah. So unfortunately, quick knockout or strategic win?
Strategic win.
And the hypothetical question: AJ or Fury?
Fury all day.
Well, thank you very much, and Will, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, mate. I enjoyed
half hour. And hopefully everyone who's listening has enjoyed it as well. But fight out now on the 7th of December at the Bringwyn Hall in Swansea. As I say, tickets probably still available. So your opportunity to come along and watch a great fight. I'm sure it's going to be one of the greatest fights in Wales. And we'll be down in the history books as well between the two of you. So I really look forward to being involved, and I really thank Pat Barrett and Black Flash for the opportunity as well, and bringing this fight to Wales for us to put on. So, Will, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How can people follow you? How can they get involved with you and follow your story?
So it's Willy Gilheaney on Facebook, at Willy Gilheaney on Instagram, and Willy Gilheaney on Twitter as well. I'm also on TikTok as well. I don't know, not many people, but some people like TikTok.
TikTok's great.
So yeah, I got videos constantly, so you're more than welcome to come along and watch them. Just a lot of people trying to lose weight and stuff. I try to be inspiration if I can. And also the 7th of December, I have tickets, so anybody wanting to come and see me. Ethan George calls himself the Beast. So the 7th of December, I'm going to feast on the Beast. So come along and watch.
I was going to say the gladiator. I thought he was the gladiator going to slay the beast. So
yeah, you can say that as well.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, John. Whatever your plans are, and
God bless you,
thanks again for joining us on the Big Hype Podcast.
Have a good one, mate.
Take care. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this and follow this on all of the platforms that you're following your podcasts on, and keep it locked in for every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. We'll be launching a new podcast. So keep it on, the Big Hype Podcast.